The public notification period has commenced for the Cedar Grove Wastewater Treatment Plant. And I hear you saying, what am I supposed to do now? Follow this guide and you should get all the information that you need. A little while ago, we ran a survey and asked what you thought about sending a letter in during the submission period. And this is what you said. 59% of you said that you would send an objection letter during the public notification period. Nearly a quarter of you said you didn't know what an objection letter was, and 14% of you said you would not. The biggest concern for the community is devaluation of property prices, with nearly 95% of people rating that as a concern. And unfortunately though, that's not impact assessable. However, these are. 93% of you said that odour impact is a concern, followed by risks related to floods, environmental impacts, traffic impact, visual impact, disruption during construction, and noise impact. And all of these you can put in your letters. For those people that said they would not lodge a letter, these are the reasons. I think it is a waste of time, as it will make no difference to the outcome, was the biggest response. I don't blame you. It can feel like this is just going through the motions. What is a submission letter? Well, it's a letter stating your objection and or support for a development application. It's based on facts, on planning rules, and not financial or personal reasons. To submit a letter, you don't need to live in Cedar Grove, and you can be of any age as long as you can write the letter. And more than one letter can be submitted by a person, of course, for different things. And it can be handwritten or typed, posted or emailed. Why should you bother lodging a submission letter? Well, a submission or a letter that is received by the assessment manager must be considered when assessing the application. And this assessment could mean that certain conditions are applied as part of the approval process. It is basically your last legal right to explain your concerns related to the impacts that this development will have on you. And in a PDA, there is no right of appeal. I know you are frustrated, disappointed, angry, but we have another chance to present our concerns and reasons for them. And maybe, just maybe, something better can come from it than just doing nothing at all. You can't score a goal if you don't take a shot. Here are some tips on writing your letter. For your letter to be considered as properly made, it needs to be in writing, and unless a submission is made electronically, be signed by each person who made the submission. It needs to be received during the notification period, which is on or before the 16th of March. If you're mailing in your letter, make sure you give it time to get there. State the name and residential or business address of each person who made the submission, and state the reasons for the submission and the facts and circumstances that you've used to support your reasons. And finally, it needs to be made to the assessment manager. The Cedar Grove Action Group is here to help. We've gone through and read all the documents, and we've come up with some key reasons why the development application should not be approved. Now, in your letter, you could choose some, all, or none of these. It's your letter. Combine these with your own story. Personalise it. I'm going to give you an example of how you can use what we're going to be sending out to the community. So I'm going to use Odour as an example. These are extracts from the Odour Impact Assessment Report. If you want to read the fuller report, then type this into your browser. We've gone through and selected the key sections of the report that we thought the community would be interested in, as well as the conclusion. We've extracted some of the maps, and in this instance, actually called out some concerns that we've got over accuracy of the reporting. Once again, here. This is where the key reasons why the development application should not be approved based on the Odour Impact Assessment Report. And we've actually listed these out. You can combine some, all of these with your own story. And here's an example of a letter. So it has the requirement in terms of where it's being addressed to the assessment manager, It actually references a development application number, and down the bottom it's got the name and address of the person who's submitting it. If it was being mailed, their signature would be in here. That's what you have to have in your letter. So this letter, for example, by this person, they have an objection to the odour impact, and in red, just so we could highlight how they've used the information from the key reasons, are identified here in red, where they've incorporated into their letter. They lived at Mount Tambourine, and so they're bringing in some personal experience into this letter, and because they live directly behind the wetlands, they are particularly concerned about the impact that those wetlands are going to have on them. So it's personalised to the concerns that this person has. To make it easier for everybody, and if you want, you can use it. We'll provide a link, and we'll have both a PDF and a Word template for the letter. The areas in red, they must be in your letter. You don't have to use a template, but please ensure that you include those parts in your letter. Now, hopefully, you can rock your submission letter.